Today we're going to see if you can beat Fallout New Vegas while following UK law. I am no expert on UK law, most likely get a bunch of stuff wrong, so we're just going to go with what I've been able to find with the way I understand it. From the way I understand it, you're allowed to use force to stop force against you, self-defense, as long as it does not exceed the force being brought upon you. Right? Someone punches you and kicks you, you're allowed to punch and kick back. Beyond that, you're not really allowed to do anything else. You're not allowed to carry anything for self-defense. Can't carry knives, can't carry guns, everyone already knows that. From what I'm reading right here, it says it's illegal for any member of the public to carry a lethal or non-lethal self-defense weapon. Maximum prison sentence for possessing a weapon in the UK is 6 years in prison. So that rules out quite a bit of stuff for this run. And short of making it a fists-only run, I figured, since you can't beat it as a average, everyday, law-abiding citizen of the UK, why don't we beat it as a protected class, a politician? So we're getting into the stats here. I couldn't set the stats low enough for most of the stuff here, so I had to actually use the console to do it. Tried to set everything to 1, which would make the most sense for most politicians in my book. I did eventually decide to set luck up to 10 and leave it there, mostly so I could gamble later and get a bunch of money. Here I go, setting my high stats down to 1. Like I said, the only stat I leave at 10 is luck. Well, sure, it would give us better criticals and the like. We're not going to be hitting anything, right? We're going to go through and we're going to hire companions, followers, bodyguards. Alright, because after all, being a protected class like a politician, they are allowed to have highly trained people with sophisticated and expensive firearms protecting their lives at all times, while the average person can't even carry a fucking butter knife to keep themselves safe. After we get our stats set up, we head on out. I spawn in a nice fancy black suit with a red tie. And from there we run through Murder Pass. Well, I call it Murder Pass. It's a pass in Black Mountain. Not too far from the Deathclaws. Head on over to 188, pick up Veronica. She's going to be our first bodyguard. After we pick up Veronica, we head on down the road. Try to pay our respects to some war heroes here, and these people seem to take it with a little bit of hostility.
My brother died.
Try to explain to him that it was a misunderstanding, the way he took it. It wasn't meant to be taken that way, but it's his fault for misunderstanding and no one else's. So we go, we collect Boone, we level up, and I mostly just put all of my points into barter for the most part. Gotta be able to get the finest equipment for our bodyguards. Heavy hitting, fast shooting weapons, and some good armor to keep them protected. Take Confirmed Bachelor because I don't know if it extends to your followers. After we got Boone and Veronica, we head back to Good Springs because there are some displaced citizens here that need a new home. So we decide to help Joe Cobb and his friends here. After all, there's more than enough room in Good Springs for everybody. As we go to talk to Ringo, he pulls a gun on us. And of course you can't pull a gun on a politician, so he gets taken out without too much of a problem. It wasn't our fault, you see. Although I never understood that he's a part of the NCR.
Look, I know
Boone didn't like that, so we lie and tell him that everything's going to be fine and we'll never do anything to the NCR again, but let's face it, we're going to. After that, we loot everything off of Ringo and head back to Joe Cobb.
We'll still need a plan before we
We explained to him that
We ain't got much.
Good Springs could use their charm. Instead of going and shaking everybody down, I just go back to him. All it does is make the fight a little harder.
It's about
But since I have 2 followers that are fairly good followers at that, it doesn't take too long to deal with the Good Springs situation. See, now our real goal here is to just let everybody kill each other so we can collect all the loot and sell it off and make some money. We're going to need a good amount of money in this run to make sure we can keep our followers in heavy-hitting weapons to keep us protected, of course. No other reason. So after the fight goes on for a bit, loot everything that's not nailed down. One of them here even throws a stick of dynamite and kills Joe Cobb, which is kind of funny. After that, I decide to grab a mod that allows me to recruit almost anybody in the game. Stop at the gun runners, sell off a bunch of stuff. Just enough caps to make sure we got enough to help us invest later on. Go and talk to Arcade. He thinks we're challenged and decides to come with us.
you sound like you really
Never actually knew that was an option until this run, which is kind of funny.
can't do anything stupid.
We convince Arcade to come with us. He's heavy-hitting with a Plasma Defender, I think it is. The fancy plasma pistol.
If you do, I'll leave. Does that make sense?
And his healing skill. After that, we decide to go and invest our money properly by gambling it all. Starting off at the Atomic Wrangler, which doesn't have a marquee on its table. Then over to the Gamora, which does. Also unique cards. The tops. Also unique cards. I never really understood. Well, not understood. It's noticed that until this playthrough that, yeah, all the cards are different for almost every one of the casinos. After we get up quite a bit of caps, we head on over to the gun runners again, pick up a bunch of guns, a bunch of ammo, hold off on the body armor for the moment.
What in the goddamn?
After that, we go and say hi to Benny.
Keep this in the groove, hey? Smooth.
After all, you could expect a knock on the door should you go threatening a politician, let's say. I mean, nowadays, you can get a knock on your door from posting on Facebook in the wrong way.
Add to that, every chairman in this joint is armed. Anyhow,
Benny thinks that we only brought in pea shooters. Little does he know, politicians' bodyguards are allowed to bring firearms everywhere, including this casino. So they all get lit up, completely destroyed within a matter of seconds. After that, we make sure to loot everybody here. Get what we can to sell off later. Don't really need their suits. Try to take their guns, especially if they're automatics. Take everything off of Benny. Keep Maria, I do believe, for the rest of the game. And while politicians aren't supposed to be carrying firearms, I'm like 90% sure they do. Head on over to Cottonwood Cove, where we enlist the help of the Phoenix here. Well, of Phoenix. Go meet Caesar, a refugee, if you will, that simply wants to call the Mojave home, along with all of his wonderful young men. Upstanding citizens, really. And since House won't let them come in, we need to go and deal with House. Followers have no problem dealing with him after I mark him. I don't figure out later that you can actually use a command to mark for attacks with the mod I'm using. After we're done talking to Caesar, he explains to us our next mission, which is to go and deal with the boomers. They seem to be a bunch of xenophobes who want to keep everyone away and out, which just doesn't seem right. So we speak to them, lie to them, and then I finally figure out that you can designate targets for your followers to attack. And by this point in time, I have a few Legion members following me around. They bodyguards, that's all. No other reason why you'd have them there. And they put in quite a bit of work, and by this point I've been collecting combat armor from the boomers stockpile, along with automatic weapons and an anti-material rifle. After we deal with the boomers, we had to go talk to Caesar
It's
again.
impressive that you made it through their barrage. Now, as for your next assignment.
He gives us our
I want
next
you to forge
assignment,
an alliance between
which is to go
TriStar
convince the White
Station
Glove
and
Society to side with Caesar.
I certainly
Now, the
did.
White Glove Society used to be
Created an
cannibals,
extraordinary
and this was for
from the flesh
almost
of the late
200 years that they
Mr.
were,
St.
if memory serves me right.
Everyone at the
So it's part of their
table.
culture, and it shouldn't
I
be
told
frowned
them what
upon.
it was, and the room was
So,
quiet for a moment, but then
We help
all the
them
party left.
rekindle their love for a tradition that was almost lost, and they decide to work with us.
Hodgepodge of sporting equipment that passes for fashion with them. Nevertheless, I have heard Caesar has a stately dignity about him. And I understand his
Once they
policies
decide
will
to
agree with
side
our
with
new
us, we head back to
I
Caesar.
prefer Mr. House, of course, but he may not be around forever. And the NCR
Mind you,
will
by this
surely
point in
set
time, we've
back
already
up
killed
his own.
House, so there's no
Tell
siding
your
with
Mr.
him for
Caesar
them
we are
anyway.
with him.
Good.
Head back to Caesar. He says it's all good.
Allies on the strip will move
It's almost
the dam
time for the
straight.
dam to be taken.
As for your next assignment, I want you to destroy
Gives us our next assignment to go deal with the Brotherhood of Steel. Well, Veronica's not going to like that. Well, I thought that at first until she started attacking the Brotherhood alongside us, which was strange. As you can see right there. I don't know if it's a quirk of the mod or what. We pick up all the Brotherhood armor we can, along with some high-tech weaponry to outfit our bodyguards with, so they can better protect us. For no other reason.
Very well.
Head back to Caesar, tell him they're gone. He's happy with it.
To enclose my efforts to reshape the power balance
Gets
of
us
the
ready for our next assignment.
and not a minute too soon. I want you to join me in my tent. You and I are going
Which,
to have a
at
private
this point in time,
conversation.
is to help
Lucius
him
says I
deal with
stare into
his
space, blink a few times, then keep talking like nothing
really
happened.
almost fainting spells.
So what's the diagnosis?
If you didn't know, he has a tumor in his brain.
I'm not familiar with
We
that
give him
condition.
medical advice, which isn't on point.
Then go find some
And he pretty much
doctors.
tells us to do a brain surgery on him. We have no idea how to do
I'll
that.
make sure you're allowed
So we're going to do the
to
next
start
best thing, which is allow him the use of the talents of Arcade for
I'll have
an
my
unspecified
guards
amount of
have it.
time, and he's going to pay us in return
I'll
for
see
it.
to it that your reward
Now, some
is
people would call it slavery, and those people would in fact be right.
Hey there. Was it always your plan to sell me into slavery to Caesar, or was that a spur-of-the-moment thing? I know I shouldn't place one life below another, but in Caesar's case, I'll make an exception. The whole slavery and cultural annihilation stance he's adopted is a bit repugnant to me. Though I guess what I think never really mattered much to you, did it?
No, it did not.
President of the NCR intends
After Caesar's all healed up and ready to go, we have to go kill President Kimball. And by kill, it mostly means designate him as the target for our bodyguards to keep us safe from. After he's dead, we run out of dodge and
dispatched President
head back to
Kennedy
Caesar.
with real skill.
He's pleased with the humiliation we dealt to the NCR,
Humiliation.
that they couldn't even
My
keep their
forces
own
are in
people
position
safe
to
like
stop
that.
the dam. Legatus Linnaeus has assumed command.
And by that point in time, Legate Lanius is here, and we go say hi to him.
Who bears the mark?
He's performing ritualistic sacrifice to his gods, which is perfectly fine in his culture.
You are the courier, Lord Kaiser.
And then he tells us to get ready so that we can help him assault the dam with all of the fine young men that simply want a new home to live in for a better future. And it's simply walk down the road, allow our bodyguards to guard our bodies from these soldiers here that do not want progress to happen.
Ah, the outsider who gained our master's
After that, we let the Legion in and head for the General. He's the last holdout.
Maniacs with you would disagree. No, I think I'll hold the fort here until our reinforcements arrive. Better that than simply give up. What other option is
Refuses to
available?
retreat, refuses to leave,
According to you, the road west is blocked. And while you might
refuses to see sense that it's inevitable
My thoughts exactly.
that we will win. So I do what politicians do best and run and hide from everything that's actually dangerous while letting our soldiers, well, bodyguards, protect us here. You know, only basic bodyguards. It's all you need. It's all we have. Keep healed up while they mow down everything in sight. By this point, the general's dead and one of my guys is ragdolling, but that's fine. Just gotta stay out of the way of the others and keep healing up. That's all we need to do. We can wait it out. What we always do anyway. Just wait out the problem till people forget about it. Head on out. Make like we actually did something. Promise we'll do something more if only we're given some more time. After that's all done, we go talk to the legate.
No act is more sacred than consecrating a site in the blood.
He seems happy to have a new place to call home.
Is fully under our control. A few pitiful holdouts remain, but their time is short. The general was the last source of concern. With their commander dead, the NCR will pull out of this region, allowing our conquest to continue westward unopposed for a time. The Legion will swell with the number of slaves we will claim from this place, and the tribute we gather will fund further campaigns. Perhaps in time,
he seems fairly happy to be bringing his culture to this land.
California. But for now, we rest.
I mean, the part about taking California, sure, man. If you want the place, fucking take it.
But we can speak of that
anyway, no, you cannot beat Fallout New Vegas as a law-abiding British, well, UK citizen. You can as a corrupt politician, though. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there.